Welcome to Building a Powerhouse Brand. I'm Jackie Laws, brand strategist, mentor, designer, author and founder of brand agency Bailey & Rue. My mission for this podcast is to support other women to build a magnetic personal brand and a business that allows you to have both financial and time freedom. Building your personal brand is not just about those visuals, it's about setting the stage as the real you and a magnet for those dream clients. Join me and my incredible guests as I dive into the strategies, insights, and stories behind building a successful brand. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a marketer, or simply intrigued by brand building, this podcast is your roadmap to success. Tune in each week as I explore branding, innovation, and influence, and join me on this adventure as we unleash the power of personal branding. Visit baileyandrue.com for more insights and follow me on Instagram at baileyandrue. This is Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I've got Christina with me, who is going to be talking to us all about high ticket sales, selling high ticket, and also sales funnels to automate your business, which I am a huge believer in. If you really want to create that bigger impact, make more money in your life and have that freedom, selling high ticket really is the way to go. So I'm going to hand over to Christina to introduce herself. So Christina, tell us a little bit about you, like your background and your kind of journey into becoming a high ticket sales coach.
Woo woo! Yes, high ticket sales. I'm so excited to get started, y'all. So I'm Christina. I'm located in Dallas, Texas, as you can tell by my little y'all intro there. I'm a former assistant principal. I worked in public schools for 8.5 years and really just developed a passion for closing gaps, closing literacy gaps, which later evolved into closing gaps for women and educators, in particular with how we are paid and how we charge for our services. So this all started actually out of a frustration of just not being able to find the resources that I wanted myself, that provided mindset in addition to the strategy work to actually be able to charge what I wanted to. So while I started out selling a low ticket $350 mastermind, out of that, my clients were landing multi 4-figure clients. And I was like, okay, we might need to charge a little bit more here. So I evolved that funnel framework into a high ticket marketing and sales funnel framework that I now teach other edupreneurs, meaning former or current educators, and entrepreneurs how to build high ticket 6-figure plus businesses and beyond.
Love it. So I know obviously you specialize in high ticket sales funnels and sales, high ticket sales in itself, but what is your background that led you into that part of your journey? Like, how did you go from like what you were doing before into specializing in high ticket?
Absolutely. So for me, it was really all about creating time freedom, right? So like true time freedom means that we're not worrying about money while I'm spending my time how I want to, right?
100%.
True. Yeah. And so it's really from that place that I went, what I want and what my life looks like isn't what I want it to be, which is the first step that led me to quitting my assistant principal job. I was like, I am going to create this for myself. I was deep in postpartum depression and anxiety. And I said, I have to create a change. And that can be applicable to any of us who want to create memories with our friends, with our family, with ourselves, right? So there was this misalignment. And that was the first thing that led me to go, okay, when I build my own business, I'm going to do things differently, because my $350 mastermind, it had kind of been a side hustle. I was doing it while I was an assistant principal. So I said, when I quit and I go full time, I am going to charge what I want to. So I really gave myself that permission and realized there was never enough mindset work that could propel me into charging that, into charging what I wanted to. I just had to do it. And it really came from a place of I knew the results I could get for people. And so this is what I coach my clients on. Like, if you can get insane results for people, whether that, and that's not just about making money, right? It could be confidence or that time freedom. It could be so many different things. Then we really need to be charging as much. We underestimate the things that people want to pay access for because we have so many assumptions around why people do and don't pay what they do.
Yeah, 100%. It's so good. Like what you just said there about success isn't always about making more money. Obviously, yes,
Mm-hmm.
selling the higher ticket, but actually success can be about that confidence boost. Like you could invest in something that you may come away and think, well, I didn't really make any money from that, or it's not had that ROI, but actually has it because if it's boosted your confidence, given you clarity in your business, or just help you to overcome those mindset blocks in itself. That in itself is an ROI, isn't it, for your investment?
Absolutely. And I think it's about that underlying, like again, what's the life that I envision? Why don't I have that yet? And how am I going to change it?
Yeah,
And there's several different options for creating that. One of them is working less hours. But if you want to be able to have true financial freedom, that also means that you need to be making more money. So that time freedom and that financial freedom go hand in hand. But it's like the financial freedom is the vehicle, right? The money is the vehicle to the lifestyle that we want. And the level of what that looks like for each person is different. And I think that's important to recognize too. So it's about aligning what you want to charge with what you want your life to look like. And it's not a selfish thing, right? You're charging what you are because you're self-aware of, again, the insane transformations you can get for clients.
exactly. And it's having that confidence to back it up as well, isn't it? So important.
Yes. And that confidence is, kind of back to your question about how I got into this. I had spoken with lots of coaches who had the inspiration, right? They had the ability to pump me up. They had the ability to be a cheerleader, but the strategy was missing.
Yeah,
So like we can do that the mindset work is very important, but again, if you don't at some point just say, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. I still felt scared as you know what out of my pants the first time I said, okay, I'm going to charge $3,000 for a coaching package when I raised it from 350 to that 3,000. And I had a coach who was working with me, by the way, on those pricey pieces too. I believe in investing just like how I promote others to invest with me. And
yeah,
I know you're the same way.
yeah,
We've talked about like our investments, which has been so fun, but we've got to be able to at some point say, well, I'm going to do it anyways.
exactly. Yeah, 100%. So talking about those like kind of challenges that you've had, do you think you've had any, or what have been your main challenges that you've maybe had in your business that have allowed you to create a brand that gives you that insight, the understanding, and the solutions that you can help your clients with? Because I think so often you see coaches in the online space that are like, oh my God, I can help you do this, that, and the other, but actually they haven't done it themselves or experienced the kind of like those
Mm-hmm.
like pain points that their clients are going through right now. And I think it's that having that relatability.
Absolutely. So I can say for me that, making six figures in my first year, going full time in business, that did not come without, again, like dabbling, right? Like half
Yeah,
in, half out of my business in
you've
years
got to
prior to
dabble.
that.
You've got to dabble.
Right. But also, I don't think you have to dabble at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Because see, for me, I wasn't all in. And honestly, I couldn't be. I didn't have the capacity. I was a full-time assistant principal. The business that you see now on high ticket sales funnels, aka coachstina.com, is not the business that I had 6 years ago. I actually it was a low ticket membership for female entrepreneurs called the Everyday Series. Look it up. It still has an Instagram handle. But what I was doing then fit my capacity. A low ticket membership fit my capacity. When I went full time with my business, high ticket offers fit my capacity very well.
yeah,
There's this misconception that selling high ticket means you're booked out and you're burned out. And that was something that I was very determined not to do. So, I actually, when I came out of my full-time job, my biggest thing I dealt with was I was so disturbed internally by this idea that I didn't have to be working. I felt this constant nagging of like, you need to be doing something, you need to be doing something else. And that's the beauty of what funnels have brought me is it helped me to break that cycle of feeling like I always had to be working. No, no,
yeah,
no. Actually, when you trust your business, when you trust the systems you have set up, when you trust your offers, that nagging is going to slowly dissipate. So even though I made six figures, that first year full time, there was a lot of internal work of like being present and activating, feeling present with my daughter, because I actually hadn't been able to be present with myself for 8 years. And I think some of these toxic habits that we've had in the corporate world or in our full-time jobs previously, we bring into our business because it's really how the system has conditioned us, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
100%.
So I really think the difference maker was me just not wallowing in this idea that, oh, I can't charge that. I said, I will charge that. I activated my self-belief and I just did it. Now there is strategy that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
I have my whole funnel framework for that reason. But I think it was that just that ability to feel present as a mother that I had that honestly took me 2 years to break that and break the guilt of charging what I was. The guilt did not keep me from charging that,
Yeah.
which is where a lot of people, that mindset stops them from doing it. But I still dealt with the guilt because again, I'd been conditioned to that as an educator. I made 6 times my assistant principal salary in 1 month this year, which is just absolutely insane when I
It's
think about it.
amazing.
But I mean, I have my own positive self-talk stems that I have to use because of the negative self-talk that pops up for me. And that will happen with every price increase. But the reality is you just have to choose. If you feel the prompting, you have to go with that because that's your highest self saying, I'm ready to evolve another level.
Yeah.
So when you deny that, you're going to be out of alignment, right? With like, again, that what you want to be true, to bring it back to that and what your life looks like. So it's this constant internal and external battle to have those two things be aligned because those things are going to change over time in your business.
It's amazing. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because I think there's this huge misconception that people charging high ticket don't have these kind of blocks when they're also transitioning and increasing their own prices. I think it comes across to the outside world that all of those people are just sitting there on their sun loungers and money's just rolling into
Right.
their, do you know what I mean? It's just like, that's not real. They all have their crap to deal with. And yeah, it's just knowing what your setbacks are and things, your own personal blocks and how you overcome that. And that
Exactly.
will be different for everyone, won't it?
Yeah, because we're seeing, somebody at the beach sipping their margarita. Look, that will be me one day. I've already decided I'm going to build $1 million business, and I have sat at the beach and drank lots of margaritas. But the point is, we're seeing the other side of that internal work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like there's a degree to which we do have to envision the life that we want, but then we also have to take action. So like just envisioning something that we want alone isn't going to activate it. There's real tangible strategy. And I think that goes back to my background as an educator. I've seen a lot of courses out there, and this is why a lot of courses don't get results for people because they're strictly informational.
Yeah.
So when we think about learning, okay, this is when you build out a lesson plan, there's the introduction to new material, the guided practice, and the independent practice. So in order for a learner to be successful, there has to be the modeling, the introduction to new material. So think about it. That's when someone is teaching, right?
Yeah.
They're giving you the facts, the key points. But then guess what? After that, somebody's got to be able to practice
Exactly.
with you.
Yeah.
And then after that, somebody needs to practice on their own. And then they need to be able to cycle back for feedback. So there's this cycle of learning that a lot of people in the coaching industry don't understand. The people that are getting really amazing results, whether they be internal, right, transformations, or external things like things that we can measure, they have a teaching method that works. So to kind of bring it back to your question, it's that process. And we have both self-led processes that we have to take ourselves through and processes that people that we invest with can take us through.
Yeah.
And both are really, really important.
Exactly. And the other thing I really wanted to talk about today, because I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, the worst thing to think about when you're going into your business is selling. Like most women are like, oh my God, selling, that's so masculine. Like I just feel really icky when I'm selling. Like it just doesn't feel, it feels like quite a masculine thing, doesn't it? But
Mm-hmm.
your brand, your branding and everything is really fun and energetic and making sales like exciting. So what would you say to somebody that is at that point in their business where they feel like they know they need to sell, but they've just got this huge block around it because it just feels
Yep.
really icky and yeah.
So let's talk about why the block has been created, right? And this
Yeah.
is I've been in the online space for a long time. I've sold like Beauty Counter as an affiliate, right? I told you about my low ticket membership. So there were lots of things I dabbled in. But when we think about why this block was created, it's because we have compartmentalized selling to be about talking about our offer, right? And saying, oh, you're going to get this number of calls, you're going to get Voxer, Telegram, you're going to get this course. That's actually not what selling is. Selling is sharing your own transformations that you have been through with your audience to create some kind of desired result. It's also talking about the transformations that your own clients have been through, right? From point A to point B, where have you taken them? So it's storytelling, right? It's storytelling around how you took something that was really frustrating a client and you turned it into this pivotal moment where now they're living their best life. And this can happen with any industry, any niche. We've been so bombarded with, the 10K months money message that we forget there's so many transformations outside of that, and return
Yeah.
on investment is so much more than just money. So that block was created for that reason. And because Instagram started becoming a place where we get these cold DMs, and it's like, no, I do not want your blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Like,
Leave me alone.
um, and let me tell you my secret sauce with that. This is a real golden nugget here, as I would call it. Some unicorn dust that I'm going to sprinkle on y'all. The way that you sell without selling and taking out, kind of what you've described is a too overpowering of a masculine energy, is we always give people an either or. So for example, and some of you listening to this episode, I might have asked this to you in the DMs before. The question is, are you making $10,000 plus months now? Or is that not something you're interested in? So it's the or question. When we give somebody the opportunity to advocate for themselves and share with you, hey, actually, I'm perfectly content. My life is how I want it. That's what takes the slime out. It's in the
Yeah.
assumption when somebody assumes, hey, you need this, hey, you need this, that it feels icky, because it's like you're assuming I need something that I might not need. I have people that have done that before, right? That have
Yeah.
been like, hey, here's my course to create your six-figure business. And it's like, well, I already have a a six-figure plus business, right? Had they not said, hey, Christina, have you, and after, by the way, after they built a relationship with me, because that's very important. Instagram is social media. It's social for a reason. If they were to pop in and say, hey, have you created a six-figure business yet? Or is this not something you're interested in doing or not a goal of yours? So much more open-ended. It feels so much less aggressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Love that. Um, so let's talk a little bit more about high ticket. So why would you say that businesses should be charging high ticket prices? And I think this is something that's really interesting because I've had so many conversations with people that are offering a one-to-one service that are thinking that they need to charge less for that than their other offers. And it just blows my mind. I'm like, no, anything one-to-one should be your top. Like that's a premium package. So yeah, what advice would you give to someone?
Absolutely. So I would say high ticket really has to do with how you see yourself and how you see your worth. And it's a really hard thing to face because we don't like thinking about the fact that I might not be super confident or I might not be my highest version of myself. Because for me, that's where this is shifted to. For me, it's no longer about I'm not confident, which is kind of where it starts with people when they're first selling high ticket. For me, it's more, this is the highest evolution of myself, and my pricing is evolving with that, because look at how much greater my client results have gone,
Yeah.
right? So when I first started helping people sell high ticket, they were selling, $3,000-$4,000 packages. Now my clients are selling multi 5-figure packages. So when I look at, okay, so someone's return on investment here is going to be so much more. I say, so if someone wants to have one-to-one access to my brain, which is like these one-to-one calls you kind of spoke about,
Yeah.
people pay a lot of money for that. And people underestimate being able to have access to someone. You see, high ticket is about access. It's about at any time, can I tap in and get this person's opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. The coaches that I work with, I'm not in their one-to-one offers, but their one-to-one offers are $100,000 plus. So we also have to reframe how we think about high ticket. High ticket is subjective to what someone has already been charging.
Yeah.
And this isn't to say that you constantly have to increase your prices and you constantly have to look to, go higher and higher. If you're content, and again, you look at your life and you go, how I want my life to look and how I envision it are perfectly aligned in energy. Awesome.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing you need to change. But if you're going, I feel like there's something more I can offer to clients. And if you're feeling frustrated, if you're going, oh, like I just, this feels like such a Debbie Downer, like, or talking to this client is like, it's just weighing on me, right? Like doing all these one-to-one calls or whatever it is that feels out of misalignment, then you should evaluate what your offers are and if you should be charging more, because the reality is higher ticket prices attract more premium clients, right? So
Yeah.
it's also about the type of person that you're calling in. It's also not about saying, well, I'm just going to decide I'm going to change the price of this mastermind and charge this instead. No, it's actually about adding more value. So part of that self elevation is saying, I'm going to figure out how I can give more to my clients.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out how I can provide more support, more feedback, more trainings, more whatever it is that is going to say to them, wow, this coach or this consultant or this service provider really, really cares about me. And when you charge high ticket, there's so much freedom to do that
Yeah.
because you're working with less clients. That's one thing. And you're making more money. So those pieces I would say are really, really key.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also when you are perfecting, or not perfecting, because I feel like there's always room for growth anyway, but when you're really working on that customer experience that they're going to have with you and making improvements to like any of your packages that are the one-to-one things, then you're going to encourage those people to leave you those amazing testimonials. And I mean,
Yep.
people book coaches or whatever service you provide from somebody else's amazing testimonial because they've seen those amazing results, like, and they want a piece of that as well.
Yes.
So yeah, it's so much easier, isn't it?
It is. And people are, lately have gotten really, I won't say hung up, but there's just this new obsession, right? With like offering a course or a mastermind or right
Yeah.
off the bat doing a group program and charging high ticket for that. And you should and can charge high ticket for those. But a lot of the times, the reasons why those programs aren't getting results is because the process hasn't been perfected with one-to-one. So this is another incentive to charge high ticket one-to-one clients so that you can really master what is my process with clients to get the main transformation they're wanting. So this is how I personally created a hybrid program that still gets insane results. Less time is required of me,
Yeah.
but the majority of it is automated. And it's because in that one-to-one space, I really looked at what is my method, and then I turned that into a course. So I don't necessarily think a mastermind should be your very first offer. I actually think it should be one-to-one high ticket. And once you've, booked that out, and by booked out, I don't mean 30 clients and 45 hours a week. I mean, right? Like 5 clients at $6,000 each, or 10 clients at $5,000 each, whatever that looks like for you, 10 clients at $10,000 each. It just depends on where you're starting with high
Yeah.
ticket pricing. Then you start taking a wait list, right? You start taking deposits. And then eventually you're going to have this backlog of people waiting to work with you. You also get in, like you mentioned, Jackie, insane testimonials because you're working one-to-one. So you've seen my Instagram Voxer screenshots galore. You have all these screenshots that then are really your basis for getting to propel yourself into selling a group program or a mastermind, because you know what gets results.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to know what gets results when you're working with a group and you've never done it with one-to-one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that your whole thing is about the high ticket sales funnels. So sales funnels is something that I am so passionate about, because having that automation is just a complete game changer, isn't it? So
Yes.
high ticket sales funnels, just talk a little bit about that. Like, I know there's been loads of different methods going around lately. Like, it changes all the time, doesn't it? About whether you should have 6 emails or 600
Oh,
emails.
goodness, yes.
Whatever it is. Like, what should we be doing right now?
Yes. So I will say it should be whatever feels good to you, whatever feels in alignment. And I don't say that like casually. I say that in the sense that if you're not doing what feels aligned to you and you're constantly trying to sort through what everybody else is saying, you're never going to be able to take away a return on investment. Because
Yes.
see, people that are self-led, that are investing in things and resources, you have to be able to take from coaches, consultants, and courses what you need. There's no way on earth that you could possibly listen to however many hours of courses or trainings or even one-on-one sessions that you've purchased and implement every single thing. You've got to be able to make decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, on the more technical side, I will say that the number of touch points right now is with a lead is more like 70 touch points. Okay.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it's changing
it
all the time.
is. So it is higher. It is taking a higher number of touch points to convert people. This is why I err on the side of when someone joins my email list, they're getting like an email every day for a long, long time. And this is what I teach in my funnel building program too. And it's not about sell, sell, sell. You are educating your audience through those emails on why they need you, on what you do so that they purchase the how. So you're talking about the what and the why so that they purchase the how. I did a whole podcast episode recently myself on this. And an Instagram live training if y'all want to check it out on emails. Like what do you do? How do you get your emails, to convert? So with that as well, you need to have different emails for each of your funnel steps, right?
Yes.
So like, what is the offer that your freebie? What are you what's the action you're trying to get after somebody downloads your freebie email sequence? Next offer, right? They purchase that or they opt in. Email sequence on the next offer or the next step you're trying to get them to take. And that just goes on and on and on. Email is incredibly important because it gets you off that, as everybody says, content creation hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You know what converts, but I mean, I personally recommend I do 30 emails. I would say you want 15 to 30 emails in every single sequence, and you should have sequences for when people are clicking, when they're clicking on a link within your emails, right? Like the options for that are really, really limitless. And this way, what this ends up doing is you're spending the majority of your time on your marketing and lead generation and client work. Those are the only 3 tasks I do week to week. There's no, back end anything, but the touch points are much higher. So consistency with your social media and your email, those would be nurture steps in a funnel. Those are really key.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So just to wrap up, if somebody is looking for selling high ticket or looking to get into creating better performing high ticket sales funnels, what would be the next steps if they wanted to work with you? Where can they find you? Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So you can go to coachstina.com where you're going to find a free high ticket sales funnel training. I actually break down for you the exact steps in the same exact funnel that I use to this day and that my clients use. It's actually very, very simple. It is a short form funnel. which is probably the most exciting part. Funnels are often overcomplicated. We think we need all these upsells and downsells and all these different things. And I actually only sold one high ticket offer for 2 years. And that would kind of be my last little sprinkle of unicorn dust, is to remember you don't have to sell everything. If you can master selling one high ticket offer really, really well and let that be your one focus, you can truly sell anything.
I love that. What a great way to end this amazing episode. Thank you so much, Christina.
Yes.
Please make sure you go and give Christina a follow. What was your Instagram handle, Christina?
Yes, high ticket sales funnels.
Yay.
And send me a DM and say hello that you heard this episode. That would be awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, Jackie.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. If you're ready to unlock the secrets of building your own personal brand, head over to my website, baileyandrue.com, where you can grab my free Brand Brilliance Blueprint today. It's your roadmap to success in the world of branding. And hey, let's stay connected beyond the podcast. Follow me on Instagram at baileyandrue for daily inspiration, behind the scenes insights, and exclusive content to fuel your brand journey. See you there.